there's a huge block of intensely cold air across Russia. Now that's going to sit there for days, if not weeks to come. Now the issue is that if that starts to move its way westwards, and some models indicate that it will, then that opens a whole new ballpark in terms of the potential for a prolonged cold spell for us.
So where are the worst affected areas this morning?
Well, by far the worst remains in Cumbria, particularly southern Cumbria, where, as you're probably well aware, we saw phenomenal conditions yesterday. The snowfall was, let's be honest, underestimated by forecasters, including the Met Office, but we're all in the same boat. It was far worse than we expected, and some places there have seen a foot of snow. And bear in mind, the foot of snow is down at low levels. Cumbria is a mountainous region, and I can imagine up on the fells we're seeing much more than that. It's not actually snowing now, but what snow which fell yesterday has not melted overnight, extremely icy, and it'll stick around through today as well. More widely, Chloe, we've seen another band of rain, sleet and snow crossing much of England and Wales, west to east. When I got back home last night, I had to drive home at 2 o'clock this morning. It was raining, but it was below freezing, so it was sheet ice. Now that mixture of rain, sleet and snow has cleared through, but some places have seen up to 10 centimetres of snow, for example, across the North Midlands. The main issue at the moment is ice, with temperatures close to freezing for most places. I say close to freezing. In Highland Scotland, it's currently minus 13 and getting colder as I speak. Now, through today, what's going to happen is that southern counties of England, South Wales, actually are going to be mild and mucky and messy and with some rain around. So kind of back to normal for the south. But anywhere from, the Midlands, North Wales, northwards, different story. Here, we're still cold enough for rain to turn to sleet and snow at the drop of a hat, particularly up over the high ground. And later on today, we're going to see another period of snow affecting central and northern parts of Wales, up into the Peak District, the southern Pennines. Now, here I'm expecting potentially 14, 15, 16 centimetres of snow on high ground. So again, hazardous for those trans-Pennine routes, for example. And some of that snow will extend further north across northern England as we go into the night and into tomorrow morning. That'll clear through, and then the cold air rushes southwards again. So although we're going to see 24 hours or so of milder conditions across southern England, don't be fooled, that cold air is going to come back as we head towards Tuesday into Wednesday with more widespread frost and more very icy conditions. And so that snow which has fallen, particularly across Cumbria, is not going to go away quickly, which is a blessing in some senses, because if it did go away quickly, of course, that would raise the issue of flooding. But I don't think any thaw is going to be rapid. It's going to be very gradual over the next couple of days.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised. It is December. Is this pretty standard weather for this time of year, or do you see this as worse? I mean, minus 12, minus 13 seems pretty immense.
Yes, I mean it's not unheard of. You know, we've got down to sort of those sorts of values of temperature. For example, last winter we got down to sort of minus 12, minus 13 degrees. So it's not that unusual in isolation. If this carries on for week after week, then of course it will be much more unusual. At the moment, the bigger picture is that there's a huge block of intensely cold air across Russia. Now that's going to sit there for days, if not weeks to come. Now the issue is that if that starts to move its way westwards, and some models indicate that it will, then that opens a whole new ballpark in terms of the potential for a prolonged cold spell for us. At the moment, that doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it's one that forecasters are keeping a very, very close eye on. There are some atmospheric drivers which would predispose things to get very, very interesting from mid-December onwards if that cold air starts to spread westwards. So it's something to keep an eye on. But at the moment, Chloe, it's a pretty standard cold spell, in as much as it's not going to last all that long. But of course, if you're living in South Cumbria, you're thinking this isn't pretty standard at all. It was a very, very odd situation yesterday. We had a discrete line of showers coming off the Irish Sea which just didn't budge all day long. The winds were just in a configuration which kept Cumbria being bombarded by snowfall. It hit the coast as rain, but as it drove up the mountains, it turned to snow. and it just kept snowing for sort of 12, 15 hours.
Gosh.
That was unusual, and that was the reason it was under forecast by just about everybody. That situation has now passed, so we haven't
That's
got
good.
that flow of air coming off the Irish Sea. So if you're living in Cumbria and you're thinking, oh my gosh, are we going to see another foot of snow? No, you're not today. Things kind of getting back to normal, but that snow, as I say, is not going to disappear overnight. It's only going to very gradually thaw away.